organized here. The Ag Committee will please come to order. Clayton, would you please call roll?
Senator Crago.
Here.
Senator Ide.
Excused.
Senator McEwen.
Here.
Senator Pearson.
Here.
Chairman French.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, thanks, Clayton. First up is House Bill Engross number 92. This is Wyoming Livestock Board Memorandums of Understanding sponsored by the Joint Ag, State and Public Lands and Water Resource Interim Committee. Anybody here would like to speak to this, or briefly? This is pretty brief. I'm just trying to recall the conversation. I believe it was Buffalo. It's been a long time.
Good morning, Chairman French, committee. I would be with you. I'm not sure where we were when we first discussed this one. Buffalo sounds right.
It's been a while
Yeah,
ago,
it's been a
anyway.
while. So this bill, Chairman, we're fine with this. This really closely mirrors our board's resolution. And the House amended out the naming of some states, which we felt was better. Just give us the opportunity to deal with states that are interested rather than this series of states that was in the original bill. So we can perform this bill right along with the resolutions for the board. We'd be happy to answer any questions you have about the process or.
So the gist of this is the Wyoming Livestock Board will do MOUs with surrounding states on livestock identification, whether it be agree on branding system or whatever identification. Is that correct?
Chairman French, yes, that is correct. The MOU would allow us to go to a state. There's an exemption in the USDA EID rule that allows for states to agree they can use that brand inspection certificate as official individual ID as long as the shipping and receiving state agree. So that would be the genesis of us trying to form an MOU with another brand inspection state, if we can do that. And then it does not preclude Dr. Hazel or her counterpart in that other state for still enforcing the import rules they require in order to protect each state's producers on the import of livestock. So that's really what we would be shooting to do as the board advised.
Okay. Any questions? Dr. Hazel, would you like to say anything? Okay, well, thank you. Yeah, do you have agreements now in place or not? I mean, or it's just you just.
Chairman French, we've been in conversations, real deep conversations with one state. We're pretty close. It'll be kind of a template, and then we'll see if it fits other states' model, if they're interested at all. I can't speak to what any of the other states are gonna tell us on this. So, but we've been in conversations with one state.
So what happens if they say, got to do the electronic ID system or whatever versus just a regular branding, or is there an issue with that? We just have to follow what the other states' rules are, correct?
Mr. Chairman, and I'll probably ask Dr. Hazel to illuminate this a little more, but this is an interstate rule from the federal government, from USDA, for interstate movement of livestock. So it's gonna depend on if we can get an agreement with another state via that one exemption, we can use that. But if not, then the producers need to know that they need to comply with that rule because it's final and it's in effect right now. And if there is any compliance issues or consequence to be had for not complying, that will be from the other state and the USDA, not from us. So that's something that needs to be pointed out, that this isn't a broad, everybody in the state can do whatever they want thing. This will be in targeted narrow movements between us and one state on certain classes of cattle. So otherwise, a producer needs to be ready to comply with that USDA rule, or there could be consequences from the receiving state because you may not have complied with their import rules. And I'd ask Dr. Hazel to delve into that.
Doctor?
Good morning, Chairman French, committee. So as Director True was mentioning, this really only applies to very specific classes of cattle under very specific conditions. And keep in mind that we have limited brand states. There's only so many states that accept brands. And all we're talking about moving here, about changing, is just moving with brands, not adopting other forms of ID. We're talking about brands. If there's something that requires an official EID tag, which of course is the electronic tag, it doesn't necessarily negate that responsibility for a specific disease program, for example, brucellosis testing, brucellosis vaccination. Those cattle still have to meet those requirements. But for the classes of cattle that we can move with brands, we'll attempt to make MOUs for those specific classes of cattle. And then once that has been accomplished, as Director True mentioned, we have one state that we're discussing right now. Once that is accomplished, then we will have to notify our veterinarians. This is the one exemption you can make, and this is how you can do that. Everything else, they have to follow the rules.
Okay. Any questions of the doctor or the director? All right, thank you much. Any further thoughts? Committee? Is there any amendments anybody has?
Mr. Chairman,
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
the one online testimony,
yeah,
they just joined.
yeah, you're right. Okay. I'll open it up to public comment. We have one online. If you bring, I believe it was Kelly Carpenter in, please.
Mr. Chairman, can you hear me okay?
Yes, yes, continue.
Thank you. I will be very brief. Kelly Carpenter, Wyoming Farm Bureau Federation. Thanks, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, for joining you virtually. Just wanted to say that our members' longstanding policy has been against mandatory EID. So with that, we applaud and support the Livestock Board's efforts to pursue state-led MOUs as an alternative. So with that, we'll take any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. Any questions for Kelly? All right, seeing none, thanks for your testimony.
Thank you.
All right, committee, what's your pleasure on this? It's been moved by Senator Craigo. Seconded by Senator Pearson. Any amendments to the bill? Seeing none. Clayton, would you call the roll, please?
This is a roll call vote for House Bill 92. Senator Craigo? Aye. Senator Ide has left an absentee vote of aye.
Okay.
Senator McEwen?
Aye.
Senator Pearson?
Aye.
Chairman French?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, that is 5 ayes.
Okay, thank you, Clayton. Next up is engrossed House Bill number 168, cultivated meat prohibition. And this is co-sponsored by Senator Craigo along with another. So Senator Craigo, do you want to walk us through this real quick?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Happy to do so. House Bill 168 is a cultivated meat prohibition. Came out of the House, and essentially what it does is and it's very simple. It provides a definition for cultivated meat, which means meat that is grown entirely in a laboratory from cultured animal cells rather than harvested from an animal. And if you go down a little bit further there on page 2, it prohibits the manufacture for sale, sell, offer for sale, or distribute for sale cultivated meat for human consumption in the state. And then there's some enforcement mechanisms that are included later on in Title 35, but just follows up on this. So that's pretty much it, Mr. Chairman. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward.
All right, thank you, Senator. Any questions of Senator Craigo? Senator McEwen?
Will this cultivated meat damage my meat grinder?
Mr. Chairman, I'm certain it will.
It'll eat the blades right up, Senator McEwen.
Thank you, Senator Craigo.
Okay, I'll open it up to public comment. Anybody want to comment on this one? Kelly, would you bring Kelly in, please, Clayton?
Well, thank you again, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Our members definitely have concerns with lab-grown meat, so appreciate the intent of this legislation. We have concerns around the potential unforeseen health and safety concerns over the long term. And potentially lab-grown meat could continue to consolidate the beef industry because the technology to produce it, would only be in certain areas, as the intent of this bill would, provide for. So keeping that short, we appreciate the intent of the legislation and would stand for any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. Any questions of Kelly? Comments? Seeing none, any further public comment? Seeing none, public comment is closed. What's committee's pleasure here?
I'll move the bill.
Moved by Senator McEwen, seconded by Senator Pearson. Are there any amendments? Like Senator Craigo said, it's pretty straightforward bill. Any amendments on it? Seeing none. We're back on the bill. Clayton, would you call the roll, please?
This is a roll call vote for House Bill 168. Senator Craigo?
Aye.
Senator Ide has left an absentee vote of no. Senator McEwen?
Aye.
Senator Pearson?
Aye.
Chairman French?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, that is 4 aye and 1 no.
Thank you, Clayton. Anything else to come before? I should have scheduled a later time frame, but thanks for coming early, everybody. All right, that committee is adjourned. 11 minutes.
Congratulations.
Good job, Mr.